Hello, let's jump into advanced taming techniques. So this got to be good for new players and returning players, and if you haven't seen my beginner's guide and you need to know what some of the terms are, such as torpidity, taming percentage, and so on, you can see that on my first video of the beginner's taming guide. Alright, so let's jump into it. Do better weapons apply more torpor? I know in Ark Survival Evolved headshots used to, but I believe they've removed headshots from Ark ASA on dinosaurs. So here we go. It has 19,880 torpidity, so let's see how much one shot from a primitive crossbow does. And something you notice on the crossbow, you see the torpidity is going up. Right, so crossbow applies its full torpidity over 4 seconds. So there's the initial impact torpidity, and then it goes up for 4 seconds. So it went up to 150, and look how fast it's coming back down. So it's very important that you know exactly how many shots it's going to take to knock a dinosaur out. You can find that on different taming calculators out there. Just pick your favorite. Mine used to be SA Companion, but I think they've stopped updating. So Dododex might be a good one, but of course there are others out there that you may want to use as well. Alright, Bronto's torpidity is back down to 0. Well, let's take a shot at its head with the same crossbow. Go into first person view so we don't get the weird third person offset, which doesn't actually fire where they are. Crosshairs pointed at. Alright, so we'll go for a headshot. Got it in the head. It's gonna hit me. Huh. 157 torpor. So it did apply 7 more torpor to it. Okay, so as you saw, a headshot did apply more torpor. Not much, but a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle the damage numbers on so we can check the actual damage we're doing to the Bronto, not just torpor. Okay, so got in there the crossbow. We did 35 damage. Alright, now we'll shoot it in the chest. And we dealt 35 damage. So the damage doesn't go up with headshots anymore, so that's good. But the torpor did. So we did get 7 more torpor from a headshot. Now, of course, using headshots to get slightly more torpor may not be ideal, as you may miss a lot of shots, which would waste your arrows. Okay, the torpor on the Bronto is back to 0, so we're going to try a 277 damage crossbow and see how much torpor this applies. It will apply more damage, as you'll see, so keep that in mind. Alright, so we have 0 torpor. So if we shoot him, we just dealt 97 damage. But as you see, the torpor is way higher. We jumped the torpor all the way up to 435 before it started going back down. And for some reason, it applied the torpor way faster than 4 seconds. Alright, now the Bronto's back to 0. We'll go ahead and do a headshot with the 277 crossbow, just to show you that it will apply more torpor. But go ahead and, we'll go ahead and prove that here. Should still only do the same damage. Not really sure what happened to my trees. They've lost their color. So 97 damage again. As we see, the torpor is going up. We only got 1 more torpor this time. Alright, so a few things to clarify after some more testing just to be certain. The crossbows apply their torpor over 3 seconds, not 4 seconds. It seems it's kind of close. It's between 3 and 4 seconds, not quite 4 seconds. And then, of course, headshots with the crossbow apply more torpor, but just slightly. 7 for a 100% one, and then a 277% one is only 1 more damage, 1 to 2 more torpor. Alright, so now we're going to try out the primitive Tranq dart to see how much torpor it applies. So we can assume that based on our original findings, we can assume the primitive long neck is going to do less torpor than the 273 long neck. We'll give it a try, and we'll just show you both of these. And then, of course, we're going to compare Tranq darts versus shocking Tranq darts. Shoot it, it applies. So as you can see, the torpor on Tranq darts now doesn't just apply instantly, it goes all the way up for almost 3 seconds, just like a crossbow. As you see, it does quite a bit more than a primitive crossbow. Alright, so once it hits 0, we'll show you how much more a 273 long neck will do. Alright, it's at 0 torpor. Let's go and see if make sure this works. Shot. Look at that, 600 torpor, so quite a bit more torpor with the better long neck. Now, if you notice, the crossbow did 35 damage, and then the better crossbow did 97 damage. Be careful with that. things like anglerfish and other dinos with low hit points may die before they torp out, if you're using better crossbows. So let's see, the long neck does 26, and then the better long neck does 71. So you can see there, we're even dealing, that is actual damage we're dealing to the dinosaur, so it's hurting the dino. So even the better long neck may kill the dino, but it's less likely since it applies so much more torpor than the arrows do. Alright, so then we have the harpoon gun. Most players don't use this because crossbows work underwater, but we'll go ahead and show you how much torpor it applies. Alright, so it does 30 damage, so a little less than the crossbow. And let's see, we applied 255 torpor, so slightly more than the crossbow. Alright, so the does less damage and applies more torpor, so the main thing I would use this on is going to be anglers. The crossbow has a higher chance of killing anglers. Alright, well, what about the shocking Tranq darts versus the tranquilizer darts? Let's go over that real quick. Alright, let's try shocking Tranq dart. As you can see, the shocking Tranq dart applied 440 damage. Right, and the Tranq dart applies 221 damage. So the shocking dart does double the damage. Now, is that going to be true though when we use a more advanced weapon? Let's find out. Fire, and so definitely did more damage. Oh yeah, it applied way more torpor. Look at that, we got 1200 torpor off the shocking Tranq dart. So that's way more than it would have applied for a Tranq dart as well from a 273 long neck. So as you can see, the tranquilizing shock darts are the way to go if you can afford them and you want to knock something out. Fast. Alright, so let's get this Ronto knocked out, and then we'll show you another taming trick. Alright, so let's say you're just wanting to tame a berry eater and you don't care about its levels. You can just fill it full of Stimberries. Now this trick isn't like the old one where you could force feed it Stimberries, right? If you force fed it Stimberries, the food would drop. The only thing that's going to happen when you force feed it Stimberries is going to drop its effectiveness, which doing this taming trick anyway, its effectiveness is going to be 0. So I'll show you, if I start force feeding it Stimberries, its food isn't dropping any faster. Right, but once its food drops to a certain point where it will start eating, it will begin eating these berries, but it won't be gaining any food. So as you can see, for some reason it's eating berries from here. It is eating the berries. Now this won't work if you put mijo berries or any other type of berries or kibble or anything on the dinosaur. It'll eat that over. It'll eat its preferred food first before it starts eating anything it doesn't like. So Stimberries are its least preferred. As you can see, as it eats Stimberries, it's gaining taming percentage and losing taming effectiveness. And what this is good for is long tames. They may just be wanting to tame for eggs, or for whatever reason you don't care about the levels. You just need it quick. This will cut the taming time in half. So if it's a 3-hour tame, it becomes an 1.5-hour tame. So what you would do is you would figure out how long it's going to take it to tame. So let's say this Bronto was a 4-hour tame. I would keep Stimberries on it and make sure it never runs out. If it runs out of Stimberries, it starts losing taming percentage pretty quick. So you got to make sure it never runs out of Stimberries. If it does start to run out of Stimberries, throw some mijo berries or some other type of berries on it and feed it. And then once you have some more Stimberries gathered up, pull those berries back off. So again, if this was a 4-hour tame, at 2 hours, I would place mijo berries on it to finish the taming out. Mijo berries apply more taming percentage than any other berry, so it's better to use those to finish the tame out with. If you use any other type of berry, you're going to get a lower taming percentage, so it will take longer than the 2 hours doing this trick. Alright, let's go over traps real quick. There are many types of traps out there. There are some trap builds specifically for one dino, like you have one specifically for an RG, and so on. But we're going to just go over the classic tried and true traps that always work for lots and lots of dinosaurs. So anything that fits through a dinosaur gate, that can't. This trap is one of the best traps in the game. It's my preferred method of trapping. It's simple. 3 to 4 dinosaur gate frames with 2 gates is all you need. Set them up in a line like this, leave enough space for you to get out and not the dinosaur. This is great for RGs, Tranqs, Stegos, and of course it won't work on small dinosaurs, but if a dinosaur is small enough that it can get out through the gaps that you can get out through, you can probably just bolo it and tame it that way. The easy thing is you just lure it in, come around, close the gate, and bam, it's trapped. Right, and the next trap that traps this trap pretty much traps every dino in the game except for Gigas and Cars. You just need to make it a little taller for them and out of metal. So the thing is, this trap is believed to not work anymore, and so we'll show you that it still works. There is an issue with building this trap, that if that is done, then of course this trap will not work properly, but we'll go over that in just a second. So the idea is, you get a dinosaur angry, it chases you, and drops. You drop in here, it drops in behind you, and you tame it. You can of course make this smaller or bigger based on the dinosaur you're going for. This is big enough for a Rex though. You can even trap a Bronto in this, and then you could make it smaller for like a Megatherium or something. And of course, if you have this trap at your base, and you have a if you have the Quetzal or Reno Ganatha, you can just carry your dinosaurs back and drop them in here to tame them. Right, and then once you're in the metal tier, of course, metal billboards, right? These are great. They work kind of like a dino gate trap. You just kind of set up in a U with them, and then leave one end open, set a bear trap down, drag whatever you want. You don't have to use a bear trap, it just makes it easier. Drag whatever you want into it, it gets caught in the bear trap, run back around, drop the sign, and it can no longer escape. You just knock it out. The downside of this kind of trap is, once the dinosaur is down, you have to find another way to protect it because the billboards will not block it from getting attacked. Whereas with a trap like this, if a dinosaur fits through the dino gates, you can just put a couple of spiked walls on each side, and bam, the dino is protected. And of course, then you have the same setup for billboards, but with dino gates. And this works great on Gigas and Cars and other dinosaurs like that. Of course, you don't want to really trap the car, so. But yeah, once you've knocked the dino out, it's preferred that you put the gates in before you knock the dino out, because if the doors are not on, it may not let you. It may consider it collision. So put them on, then drag the dinosaur in, block it. You know, it can step on a bear trap, whatever. And then however you want to do it, it's easier, especially with a Giga if it steps on a bear trap. But yeah, we'll go over that in a Giga Tamer video later. Alright, we'll show you with a Rex how to use about this trap here. So this trap's better for bigger dinosaurs, aggressive dinosaurs, ones that'll actually chase you. As you see, we go over and the Rex just comes right in. And now the Rex is trapped. Alright, now we can knock it out. Should work for Therazinos, Megatheriums, Spinos, everything like that. You might have a harder time with the medium-sized dinosaurs, such as Stegos or Tranqs. They seem to get stuck right on the top and want to just kind of slide off. But sometimes they will fall in. But really, the best trap to use is probably just some dino gates. 4 to 5 dino gates is all you ever really need. And if you don't, if you want the dinosaur is not going to fit in this way, or it's too complicated to use it by getting them to chase you in, you simply set it up in a ring and fit them in, and we'll go ahead and show that to you. Alright, it's pretty simple. Place the first one down. Of course, make sure you're placing it down on the opposite side of where the dinosaur is going to be chasing you from, so know where the dinosaur is and how to kite it back. You can use a pterodon to kite it back. It's probably easier than doing it on foot. Right, and then the next one, you may want to set them up like this and snap them together, but then there's not really enough room for certain dinosaurs to get between. It's better to angle it out like this, and you want to leave some space so that you can shoot the dinosaur from outside. So you can do an angle to make sure, or you can do it like this and just space it out and make sure there's not enough room for it to get out though. I like to use the angle just to make sure it has enough room to step between the dino gates. So angle that out, like that. I mean, you can snap them together if you want. You can like slide them like up against each other if you wanted to make sure no little dinosaurs can slip in. Well, unless there's pegos in the area, you're not gonna have an issue. Okay, then we come back over to this side and we place it like this, kind of angling it back in. We gotta make sure there's enough space between it and the gate here that the dino can walk through, and we have enough space. So then we'll put a bear trap here, as close to this side as we can. Get it to step on that as it runs through here. So now we can take a pterodon or any other flyer and bait the Rex back through here. I'm just going to do it on foot. Of course, this doesn't work on dinosaurs the size of Theres. Anything that can fit through dino gates, this won't really work on, but if it can't walk through a dino gate, this blocks it. And like I said earlier, right, we should probably put these on first. Okay. And we'll go through here. Alright, I messed up. because I didn't have those gates on there first and one open. Okay, so we gotta get him to chase us again. They have a wide turn radius, so if it does end up not going in the first time, you need to kind of pull it far away and then go back so that it's turned around and coming at the right angle to get in. I don't know if I dragged him far enough back. Alright, let's go. Don't get me, Rex. There we go. And he steps in the bear trap. That gives me time to run around and place the next gate. If I was on the pterodon, this would be faster. Alright, and I just need to make sure this is here where he can't get around it. And boom, stuck Rex. Now we can drop another gate in here. And you don't necessarily need the closed gates. These just help keep wild dinosaurs out. Right now we can just drop a couple of spike traps. If I'd snapped all these together, there would be no gaps, and I could just get on top of the gate and shoot down, or build something up and shoot down from there. Or sometimes they just stick their head through and you can still shoot them even though the gate is closed. Alright, and to show you that the if you still up the dino gates, right, you snap them together, or you just line them up so that there's no gaps really between them, and you trap a Rex in there, you can still tame them without having to have the gaps I showed you earlier, how I was setting it up with the gaps in it. With these gaps, you'd probably want to put down some spike walls to protect the Rex once it's knocked out. This way you don't have to put anything down, it's just the gates. And you can just shoot the Rex, right? It sticks through and you can shoot it. So it doesn't really matter. A wild dinosaur clipping through your structures, it can't hurt you, but you can hurt it. So I can stand right underneath it while it's biting me and just shoot it. It's always easier to aggro. So we have a bear trap set, so we'll go ahead and just use this. This is the point of aggro. Set this up. Kind of angle it like we did the dino gates. Right, and now we can get the stego over here. And this trap pretty much is going to work for almost every dinosaur in the game. I'm not sure it'll hold Gigas. Gigas might be able to step over it, but I think it holds Gigas as well. So we'll get Stego to step on this trap here, and then we'll just come around and trap it. Oh. It's gotten free. And there we go. And now it's trapped. Now we can knock it out. And that billboard trap is probably the easiest, smallest trap you can take around and pretty much capture everything with it. As you notice, it's trying to get out, like I was talking about with the Rexes earlier. If put things too close together, they can kind of bounce up and walk out. It's kind of frustrating. Alright, so how you get dinosaurs to follow you up and then drop into the trap is there's a couple of steps. Alright, first step is this. When you go to place it, you notice it's on stone roof when you're using this, right? The ramps are now along with your sloped roofs. So stone roof, stone ramp, stone stairs, stone staircases. You want to use the stone ramp. Now, it is going to take more ramps than it would roofs, but the thing is, the roofs don't necessarily have a nav mesh on them. And if there's no nav mesh, the dinosaurs won't walk up it. Alright, so if you use a roof instead of a ramp, looks nicer, right? Doesn't take up as much room, goes up quickly. What will happen is a dinosaur will hit the edge here and be like, whoa, no nav mesh. I can't walk up that. I gotta go around and try and bite you from over here. Alright, because in Unreal Engine 5, or at least the way the default setup is for the nav mesh, is done the, if an object doesn't have a mesh on it for navigation, right? The dinosaur isn't going to go up it. The player still can, because the player is still following the old rules. If it has collision, I can walk on it. Right? So the old dinosaurs in ASE, if they had collision, they could walk on it. So these traps worked a lot better. Alright, so the trick with this trap also is, so ramps first, right? And then when you come to the top, sometimes if you're trying to do a stego, medium size or smaller dino, and they hit the very edge here where this wall is, right? You see how I'm sliding now? When they hit that, that doesn't have a nav mesh either, even though it's a solid object with collision that they could technically walk on. So they'll freak out. And sometimes they won't be able to fall over, they'll just kind of walk off and step to the side. To fix that, what you can do is you can just make this a little bit longer, right? Go out one more foundation, which I think this is what this is. Right, so what you can do is do this, just pop another ramp on top of this, Go through snap points, and there you go. And they should just be able to walk right off the edge of this, because this should still have a nav mesh on it. So they should still walk off and fall in. Boom, right? Now, if they're going fast, they may be able to go further. So you may want to expand this out one more and do a 4x3 instead of a 3x3. Yeah, so another thing is, when you first put this down on the server, right, you first drop this, it may not work. They may still hit your ramps here and be like, whoa, I can't go up. Well, that's just because the server hasn't had time to generate the new nav mesh. Hasn't had time to detect it, right? Player can, walk around because there's collision. So it may take a little bit of time, 5 minutes to... So it may take anywhere between 5 minutes to a day. Usually after a server save, it should look and re-update nav meshes. So whenever your next server save is, should fix the issue. If that doesn't fix the issue, you may have to wait till there's an actual update. But it shouldn't need an update, but you never know. You never know what's going to happen sometimes with this game. So, but yeah, this should be enough, and there you go. It should catch any dinos. Okay, so when shooting at something really far away, which is not ideal when trying to tame, you may waste your arrows, but if you're using a bow, you can pretty much hit them as long as you understand the drop, right? If you get the drop correct, you can hit them. Okay, but with the Tranq darts and tranquilizer, the shocking Tranq darts as well, there's a limit on their range. So if I fire from this range, you notice no hit markers, even though I fired into a big group of big dinosaurs. So there's no way I missed. So we have to get much, much closer. We were almost at render distance, so definitely can't reach that far. Move a little closer. Yeah, we still can't reach them. No, wait. Good. Damn it. Alright, so if we move this a little closer, we're about this far away, we should be able to reach them now. It's not like the sniper rifle, right? The bullet's not instantly hit, or even when you put a bullet in this. Yeah, there we go, we hit from here. So about this distance. I can't tell you really how far that is. It's not quite render distance, but it's still a decent distance. But again, it's a projectile, so it takes a while to get there. So unless you predict right where they're going, it's not going to land. It's not going to land anyway. Most dinos take kibble as their most favored food. Dododex has a great list of the kibble and what dinos take it and what ingredients are needed. We have basic kibble, simple kibble, regular kibble, superior kibble, exceptional kibble, and extraordinary kibble. Now, used to, we had specific kibble for each dino, such as you needed scorpion kibble to tame a Rex. The new system is much better. Simple kibble works on small dinos like raptors, pterodons, Tranq, and so on. And then the better kibble works on the better dinosaurs. Now, kibble is made from eggs laid by dinosaurs, and each tier requires different dinosaur eggs and ingredients. Trying to move up one tier at a time can quickly flood your base with a lot of egg-laying dinos and get complicated to keep up with ingredients. So let's simplify kibble even more. If a dino can use, for instance, simple kibble, and you give it superior kibble, it will eat the superior kibble and count it as simple kibble. This means that we can skip straight to the top tier and just produce that to tame everything, because everything will accept it as their favorite kibble. There are very few dinos that need the top tier extraordinary kibble though, so you could go with one tier down and use exceptional kibble as your main kibble farm if you wanted to. Both are very easy to make. If you want to go for the extraordinary kibble, which is the top tier, you can tame Uties. And you can tame them quickly. Basically, as soon as you have a boat or a flyer that lets you get to the snow area, you can drop sleep mags if you're dying from cold. Then you can make the kibble fairly easy just by taming Uties, right? And every kibble-eating dino in the game can be tamed with extraordinary kibble. The bottleneck will be the eggs, of course, and giant bee honey. So you would need to tame some bees to make the kibble, which is still fairly easy to do. Now, extraordinary kibble, which is one tier below exceptional, can be made from the easiest to get is Theri and Rex eggs. And since you need them for boss fighting, this makes sense to use them as kibble dinos as well. The hardest part is getting the rare flowers. Now, if you have a Therizino, rare flowers are still fairly simple to get. Now, if you want an entire video over every type of kibble and how to make them, let me know in the comments below. Exceptional kibble can be made from basilisk, Bronto, Giga, Quetzal, Rex, and Theri eggs. It requires focal chili, rare flowers, miho berries, fiber, and water. Extraordinary kibble can be made from Deinonychus eggs, Hesperornis, Magmasaur, Rock Drakes, Wyvern, and Yudi eggs. Now the ingredients are giant bee honey, Lazarus chowder, miho berries, fiber, and water. So fairly simple. These 2 kibbles are very easy to make and should be producible in just a couple of days of joining a server. And of course, once Valgaro comes out, exceptional kibble is even easier to make because you can Deinonychus lay eggs like mad and you can keep small ones locked in your base. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and have an awesome day.